Hello and welcome to my channel. I am the Spiritual Genie, and I'm bringing you another true crime case today. A strange one out of Oregon, really bizarre, a really harrowing story. So I really wanted to cover this one because Oregon is dear to my heart, and it's just it's a crazy case. One of those cases where it's one of these hidden in plain sight situations. Had no idea who your neighbor was, didn't know that they had a cinder block cell in their home where they are keeping women, planning to do nefarious things to them. So, if you guys haven't heard today, a strange story did hit the headlines of a woman who was kidnapped along an interstate, taken to a home in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and kept in a cinder block cell where she narrowly escaped with her life. Honestly, hats off to this woman, how brave and courageous she was for acting in the face of danger, because what a scary situation to find yourself in. So we are going to watch maybe a little bit of this press release, and also I'm gonna read some stuff from this article, and we're gonna get down into the nitty gritty, find out who this person is. I learned his name is, hold on, where was the, okay, Negasi Zuberi. So really weird. If you guys are true crime junkies as I am, you probably have already seen news of this case in the headlines. If not, then join me as we explore, because it's really crazy. Okay, I'll share with you guys first. I think I'll share with you this tab first. Hello, good morning, welcome. Please feel free to comment, hit the like button if you do, and to help me get out into the algorithm, because we got to help the smaller channels. I'm, a psychic medium and an investigative reporter and a armchair sleuth with my newly found passion for sleuthing. So let me share with you guys this article and let's look at some pictures and stuff. Let's go with this one. Okay. Nothing seemed unusual at Oregon home where man allegedly held woman captive, neighbor says. Nothing seemed unusual. God, do we really need to start paying better attention here? I don't know, because there is some crazy stuff going on right underneath our noses in life, hidden in plain sight. Like, whoa, this blows my mind, And I'm just thankful that I am someone that's you got to stay alert. You got to stay aware out there, stay safe and be vigilant, because man, you never know. Be aware of your surroundings, you guys. And just, this guy posed apparently as he posed as a police officer. So you just really do have to be careful. You never know. Negasi Zuberi, who officials say is also linked to 4 SAs in 4 states, once helped a neighbor break up a dogfight and administered chest compressions afterward. Interesting. Well, they always do. See, psychopaths and narcissists, they know how to win people over. They know how to get people to like them. So oftentimes you will hear stories like that, where even though this person is found out to be some monster hiding in plain sight, like, oh, they've committed a few good deeds here and there.
When police responded to a 911 call in Klamath Falls, Oregon on July 15th, they discovered a makeshift cinder block cell with a metal door and a singular light bulb above for light in a residential garage, and a woman who bravely escaped her terrifying circumstances. 29-year-old Negasi Zuberi is also known by several aliases. One is Sakima, another is Justin Haichi, and another Justin Kawasi. He is currently in federal custody for alleged interstate kidnapping after a Seattle woman escaped his home in Klamath Falls, more than 450 miles away from where she initially met him. Thereafter, she alleges she was kidnapped, shackled, sexually assaulted, and locked in this makeshift cell. According to the complaint, the woman fought for her life, beating the doors and the walls of this cell with bloodied hands.
Wow.
Through her perseverance, she broke free and waved down a passing motorist, asking for their help to call 911.
Amazing.
During that time, the officers learned that she had gone through quite a great ordeal. There's potential of additional victims out there. We're asking today for people to come forward that might had contact with Mr. Zuberi during contact. Obviously, not just in our jurisdiction, but from all over the country, wherever he lived previously. We do know that it's an active investigation. We can't say too much, but what we like to say is that the victim, if she didn't do what she did, we wouldn't be here today, and Mr. Zuberi would not be in custody.
Wow.
We have some breaking news to get to now out of.
Wow. So what a brave woman. I don't know if they've given her name or anything like that, probably to protect her, safety and whatnot. But what a brave woman to escape such a scary situation. I honestly feel like I would do something similar if I was in a situation like that. Like if it was that you knew your life was on the line, hey, you know what? You're going to fight. You are going to fight for your life. And thank God that she did, because of that, hopefully, justice can come in this situation, and maybe she saved other women from having to go through this same thing. So a lot of distance traveled getting her from point A to point B, right? Let's see. Say hello if you're here watching. Post a comment, interact. Please hit the like button. Let's go on this article. The neighbor of a man accused of kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and holding a woman captive in his Oregon garage said Wednesday that nothing seemed out of the ordinary at the home, and that the suspect once saved her pet during a near-lethal dogfight. All right. Negasi Zuberi is who authorities said is linked to at least 4 violent essays in 4 states, moved to the quiet suburban neighborhood in Klamath Falls with his wife and 2 children roughly 6 months ago. Neighbor Melanie McClure told NBC News. Zuberi, 29, was charged with 1 count of interstate kidnapping in federal district court in Oregon after authorities arrested him on July 16th. He was taken into custody after a standoff in the parking lot of a Nevada Walmart. Walmart these days, I'm telling you guys, is a kind of a scary place to be. According to a statement of probable cause unsealed Wednesday. Now, here we have a picture of this super freaky makeshift cinder block cell that the woman was being kept in. Yeah, so, well, when you see the pictures from the outside of this thing too, you kind of see how, like, if you did, there's kind of like a space at the top, around where he was like building this room. So you can see where you could have, probably with enough force, maybe gotten that wall to break down. Wasn't not made very well, but like how, like they say his behavior was escalating. And the fact that he had built this cell and actually kidnapped a woman and brought her into there, definitely way worse things were yet to come. And she sensed that. She said she knew, that things were going downhill here. This was going to be really bad for her. So look at that. That is, oh, they're like, here, you're going to look at our ads. No, don't make me look at your ads. I don't want to look at them. Okay. Wait, did we read this? Oh, yeah, no. So Zuberi, 29 years old, was charged with 1 count. Oh, we already read that. Sorry, guys. The FBI's Portland field office is asking for the public's help in identifying potential victims of Negasi Zuberi, who lived in more than 10 states. So, seeing this story made me really question whether or not this guy could possibly be involved in any of the other cases in Oregon where, I mean, tons of missing persons cases, a lot of them women, a lot of them in compromising situations, but also a lot of deaths, a lot of strange, sudden, discoveries of bodies in weird places. And, I'll share with you guys a story here that I went and did some personal. Now I wish I actually had sent those videos to, I could send them really quick. No, that would probably take way too long. I'll have to do another video on this if anything else comes out about it. But I did go up to Portland and I did do some sleuthing and some investigating of my own. And, I definitely got a vibe. And so 2 women were found in one in an abandoned barn, Joanna Speaks, one Clarissa Sweet, found in a vacant home that was being worked on to be sold. I think it was they were preparing it to be sold, and both both causes of death were homicidal violence. Okay, so don't know about those, if there will be a connection, potentially, maybe, hopefully we can get some more answers here. I just want to zoom a little bit. Okay. McClure, an occupational therapist who has lived in the neighborhood since 2016 and lives next door to the home, said that when she introduced herself to Zuberi, he identified himself as Sakima and said he just moved to the area from Colorado. He's not overly friendly, but he's not a jerk or anything like that, said McClure, 45, recalling their conversation. Nothing stood out to me that would speak to anything like what he's being accused of. Like, you don't go around telling people, hey, I'm building a makeshift cage cell in my basement where I plan on keeping women prisoner. Like, you don't lead. I don't think most people lead off in a conversation saying that. So it's just funny how we're always like, oh, I never noticed it, because you don't know somebody well enough. You're not close to them in their life. You don't know what they're doing behind closed doors, literally. Zuberi also went by Justin Heish and Justin Kouassi, federal authorities said Wednesday. A couple of months after the family moved in, McClure's 2 dogs, a Doberman Pinscher puppy and a much smaller Pomeranian Husky mix, got in a fight in her front yard, with the larger animal clutching the smaller dog's collar in its mouth and choking him, she said. Zuberi was willing to step in without question, she said. You want help? McClure recalled. I was desperate. When they finally got the smaller dog loose, he was nearly unconscious, and Zuberi administered chest compressions. Whoa, that sounds like something out of a movie. Like, it wasn't getting mauled, but it was just getting choked, and he did CPR on a small dog to save him. Interesting. He saved him, he said. He brought him back for me. Afterward, McClure said, she left the family a bottle of wine and a thank you card. I guess I'm surprised that I didn't notice anything, McClure added. Here's the thing. Anybody can hide anything. And, like I said, these types will definitely, they will look for opportunities where they can play helpful neighbor or Mr. Nice Guy or whatever. Hey, I'm a good person. I'm a helper. Look at me. Like the one lady who, poisoned her husband and then wrote some grief books about it afterwards. McClure never learned what Zuberi did for work, but she said he didn't appear to follow a 9-to-5 schedule. His wife was a very sweet mother who had no idea about her husband's alleged crimes, she said. Interesting. She's trying her best to navigate this, McClure said. Efforts to reach Zuberi's wife were unsuccessful. Zuberi's lawyer did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Zuberi's landlords, Klamath Falls Mayor Carol Westfall and her husband Kevin Westfall, said in a statement Wednesday that they were shocked and dismayed by what occurred. The couple filed a residential complaint for eviction on July 21st, giving 24-hour notice to Zuberi and all others that there had been personal injury, substantial damage, extremely outrageous act, or unlawful occupant at the property. Well, that is a very true statement. In the statement, the Westfalls commended local, state, and federal police, as well as the woman who authorities said escaped a makeshift cinder block cell where Zuberi allegedly held her captive. According to the probable cause statement, Zuberi posed as a police officer when he allegedly approached the woman, a SEX worker in Seattle, on July 15th and pointed a stun gun at her, saying he needed to take her into custody. No, I don't care. You can go ahead and stun gun me. I ain't going with you. Don't care who you say you are. That's not how police operate. So Zuberi is accused of placing her in leg irons and handcuffs and SAing her while driving her to his home, roughly 450 miles south of Seattle, the statement says. Whoa. Once there, the woman slept, but briefly awoke to the realization that she would likely die if she did not attempt to escape, the statement says. Police said she beat the door with her hands until they were bloody in order to break free. Assistant Special Agent in Charge Stephanie Shark with the FBI Portland field officer told reporters Wednesday. So there's his outside image of his home. Just looking like a normal home, right? Oh, look at me. I'm so normal. No, I'm not. It always goes like that. Look at that. Right in the middle of a neighborhood, too. Like, doesn't it just blow your mind? That absolutely is mind-boggling. Mind-blowing. I don't know about you guys. It does make you look around a little differently in your daily life. Like, you're looking at your neighbors, like, giving everyone the side eye. Like, I don't know. Maybe being a hermit, being a recluse like I am isn't so bad. Nowadays, I got my dogs. I'm good. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's outrageous and extreme. And sometimes that, honestly, it warrants a laugh. It's uncomfortable. Home of suspect Negasi Zuberi. So I want to do research on this guy, and I definitely am curious here because he was targeting an SEX worker. And, a lot of these women that are just getting their cases all getting swept to the wayside, even in the case of the Gilgo Beach killer, Hey, Mom, my #1 fan in the chat. I love you so much. Shout out to my mom. The absolute best. So Mama taught me well. She also taught me to be a fighter. So hopefully the woman that escaped this situation, she had been taught to fight tooth and nail just in case anything crazy like this ever happened. Oh man, that guy was prepared though with the leg shackles and everything. Okay, so sorry, I don't mean to leave you guys right there with no images or anything to look at, and then I'm just with text talking. I try not to do that. It's like you got to pay attention to multiple things while you're live streaming. So when authorities searched Zuberi's home, they found a handwritten note titled Operation Takeover with the bullet points: leave phone at home and make sure they don't have a bunch of people in their life. You don't want any type of investigation. Wow. Just in case like you were going to get found out, you might want to make sure you leave a note detailing exactly what you were planning on doing around for the police to find so that they can very easily put their case together. Like, how dumb are criminals? How dumb are criminals, right? Here, let me leave a note. What is this? Listen, let's read it one more time. When authorities searched Zuberi's home, they found a handwritten note titled, this is scary though. He's like over here, they're planning and plotting, writing notes, taking notes. Like, we're all planning we're goal setting in normal life, right? And this is how psychopaths and narcissists goal set. Operation Takeover with the bullet points: leave phone at home. Okay, well, at least he was smarter than Brian Kohberger in the Idaho case, that he at least knew to leave his phone at home. Make sure they don't have a bunch of people in their life. You don't want any type of investigation. Like, what are you talking to yourself in the third person? We don't want. It's just, it's outrageous. I don't mean to laugh. I mean, I'm glad the woman got away. Like, whoops, sorry. Bless her heart. Like, that's my type of woman. Like, I love those type of stories. I love stories where, I love a good story of, I don't know what to call it, a woman being freed, that she doesn't have to go through a torturous ending of her life. Wow, this guy has lived in 12 states. That's pretty unsettling. What is going on on the West Coast, East Coast? It's coast to coast, whatever. They're everywhere. We'll look at something in a little minute. I'll show you guys this algorithm that was created in order to be able to pattern and map unsolved homicides a lot faster than police are able to do, especially since they don't interact well within jurisdictions. They do sometimes have a harder time solving certain cases because it's like they don't communicate enough, and they don't want to get the FBI involved, because whenever you get the FBI involved, they start uncovering everybody's stuff. Like, oh, so-and-so in the department's having an affair with who? Like, everything comes out. So you better believe, like, the Gilgo Beach case could have been solved a lot sooner if they would have got the FBI involved a lot sooner. But they didn't want the police chief was so corrupt that he didn't want them looking at his stuff. And when they finally did, he ended up getting fired and is now, I think, in jail on some of his crimes that he committed while he was a police chief. And yeah, just a lot of corruption. So they finally, got their new task force going on in that case, and then boom, they caught the guy. But that could have probably happened a lot sooner because there definitely was evidence pointing to Rex Herman, as the suspect in that case. So okay, so 4 other SA cases are linked to this guy in 4 states. He's lived in 12 states: California, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Utah, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Illinois, Alabama, and Nevada over the last decade, and may have used several methods to target victims, including drugging drinks and impersonating a police officer, the FBI said. The agency launched an investigation website where potential victims or others with information related to the case can fill out a form to offer more information. So if you have any information regarding this case, please reach out to authorities, and any clue can help. That's why I love sleuthing and investigating, because you never know. You really do not ever know. And even with my psychic work, it kind of helps, to get a little extra level of clue in to what could be going on. So yeah, you just never know. If you know anything, please call police and report anything, because who knows how many victims could be out there. They say his behavior seemed to be escalating, but I don't know. The floors look kind of, guess they're just, who knows what went on in that. Did he have any other victims in there? We don't know yet. We don't know. So it would be, shackled and everything. Like, it's a miracle that woman escaped. I mean, he may have had victims that were, what else would be on that list? His little Operation Takeover list. What? Make sure you apprehend victims that can't fight back. Obviously, that's usually something that is a commonality. At least get them while they're vulnerable, or in ways that they will have a harder time defending themselves, or you can overpower them. Let's share another thing here. Where are we at? Okay, bear with me. So many pop-ups. Let's share this one. So I've been covering the potential Portland serialist case, and what I've come to find in all my investigating is, at any given time, there may potentially be, I don't know, something like 200 plus like serial killers loose in this country at any given time. It's crazy. I mean, there is potentially a serial killer in Oregon outside of Portland. They connected 4 deaths of the 7 now to, but there are other ones that were actually found in similar ways. So it's like, is there another one? I've sensed, since they figured out Jesse Calhoun and connected him to the 4 Portland women, I feel like there's another one on the loose. And there are probably 2 operating near the Gilgo Beach area as well. So I'm going to try to find right now this thing also. What is it? Homicide Accountability Project. There it is. Homicide Accountability Project. We're going to look at this. Murder Accountability Project. Tracking America's Unsolved Homicides. So let's actually look at this for a second. This is really fascinating. So when I was watching a documentary about the Gilgo Beach killer, these 2 videographers, the ones who were doing the documentary, the investigative reporters, they were out on their search, and they were just trying to figure out who the Gilgo Beach killer was. But what they ended up finding out was, oh my God, there are so many serial killers. There are so many unsolved homicides. There are so many cases out there. A lot of them are SEX workers. A lot of them are women who are just being swept under the rug. And sometimes the people who are in question as suspects are even police. So it also, there's a lot of cartel energy as well going on in that world. So it's just a lot. But yeah, they've been able to establish that there's probably, and map out using this algorithm, this new algorithm that can show these patterns a lot faster than police are able to detect them. It's crazy. So we'll look at a little map too. Let me pull that up so it can be ready. Highway, it's like highway, homicide, map. What is this? Hold on. Highway Serial Killings Initiative. Yeah, okay, that's what it is. Highway Serial Killings Initiative, and then here's a map, and we'll look at that next. So the Murder Accountability Project, tracking America's unsolved homicides. This is actually really cool. These are really cool ways that technology nowadays is going to help solve crimes a lot faster. And we're going to see that. We're going to see how law enforcement is going to start utilizing their resources a little bit more. And we're going to see them, you know, start to really kind of hone into things a lot faster here. So America's murder surge continues. Updated crime data show. And this just says the historic surge in U.S. homicides, which began immediately after the murder of Minneapolis resident George Floyd in 2020, continued into 2021, according to crime data provided by the FBI and augmented by the nonprofit Murder Accountability Project MAP. The Uniform Crime Report, the official accounting of crime in America, showed more than 28% increase in homicides from 2019 to 2020, the largest one-year surge in the history of the federal reporting program. That surge seemed to dissipate in 2021, according to data the FBI received, but this was due to declining participation by local police following mandatory adoption of the National Incident-Based Reporting System, NIBRS. So apparently the National Incident-Based Reporting System, NIBRS, if that would be used properly by police, then they could get on board with this and help solve crimes a little faster. Why are they not on board with it? Which seeks to improve the amount of reported detail of criminal activity. Only about 57% of the nation's murders were reported to the Bureau in 2021. Wow. Good job, law enforcement. I mean, that's a little bit of a fail on their part. You really need to be reporting. But what if they're corrupt? Like, they aren't going to be reporting. You know, if they're corrupt, they're not going to be reporting. Love you, Mom. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, this is a very interesting this isn't the initiative, the project here. So they gather data and they are able to map and see patterns a lot faster, like I said, than they were able to do before. Maybe we can watch this.
Welcome back to CBS Mornings. CBS News is launching a new investigative series that looks at the disturbing rise in unsolved murder cases nationwide. Crime Without Punishment is a joint investigation between CBS stations across the country and our investigative team here in New York. Today in the U.S., there's about a 50-50 chance that a killer will never be arrested after taking someone's life, especially if the victim is Hispanic or Black. For police departments in cities like Philadelphia, it's a huge challenge. In the first of three very powerful stories this week, Chief Investigative Correspondent Jim Axelrod went inside Philadelphia's homicide unit to see firsthand why it's so hard to solve murder cases. Jim, good morning.
Good morning. There were more than 500 homicides in Philadelphia last year, and that is more than ever before. And still, more than half remain unsolved. We wanted to see why, so we visited the Philadelphia Police Department, the fourth largest in the country. And what we found were detectives overloaded, overwhelmed, and wide awake on a Thursday morning at 4 a.m.
It is just after dawn in Philadelphia.
This is going to happen pretty fast once they get out. We'll jump out now.
Like they do 2 to 3 times every week, detectives from the city's homicide unit, along with a SWAT team, are raiding a house where they believe a murder suspect is holed up. They are looking for the man getting out of this car in this video, who they think then shot and killed an Uber driver in a case of mistaken identity. On this morning, the raid is successful.
Yeah, we have 2 suspects in custody.
This is all for educational and entertainment purposes only.
In connection with the shooting, into custody. Philadelphia homicide detective Joe Murray.
At this point, are you feeling optimistic?
So far, so good.
The video's like 24 minutes long, so we're probably not going to watch it all.
Murray and the 5 other detectives in his unit
Just want to get an idea of some of these
confronting one of the
numbers.
most troubling questions in law enforcement today. Why do so many murders now go unsolved and unpunished?
Telling
in
you, there
America?
might be over
us, it's the
200
volume.
serial killers active in the U.S.
562
right now.
homicides were committed in Philadelphia last
We don't. They
year.
don't tell us the
That's
real
about
numbers. You got to
11
do your own
each
research.
week.
It's the number of murders, and we just keep going and going and going. It's
And
just,
you know they're
the
overtly
volume just
inundated.
comes
They
in
are.
and it just crushes you.
In the 1960s, police solved 8 out of every 10 murder cases in America.
Wow.
Today, it's barely 1 in 2.
Because the amount of people that
Nationwide,
exist.
it's a 50-50 coin flip.
50-50
50-50 coin flip. That's kind of scary. It's a 50-50 coin flip that if you get taken out
clearance rate
by a killer,
That's
they're
how
going to
often
solve
the
your
police
case.
solve murder cases.
Kind of disturbing.
It has never been this bad. During the last 7 months of 2020, most murders went unsolved, and that's never happened before in America.
And today,
Ooh.
everything changed. Technology is the key.
As
Wow.
Philadelphia's Chief Inspector Frank Venort told us, more than just gumshoe detectives combing a crime scene for shell casings and buttonholing witnesses.
Just about every murder has sometimes dozens of sources of video.
These days, the focus of the first 48 hours after a homicide, the most crucial stretch for investigators, is gathering video.
Video has become our new witness.
Okay, so listen up.
We visited Philadelphia 5 days after a shooting
Hold
on
on. I
South
do
Street,
just want
a
to
bustling
speak on that
commercial
really
center,
quick.
left 3
Listen up. They just said video is their new witness. So anyone out there that's saying that in the Idaho case that all the video evidence that they have isn't going to hold up, like, come on. I really do think that once you put the little pieces together, that case is going to start making a lot more sense. But we're really not going to see it until we are not going to see it unfold until trial, because they just aren't going to put all their cards out on the table. Duh. They're keeping it close to the vest, the gag order, all that. So, but
yeah,
hey,
and 11
powerful
wounded.
evidence, video.
The area is blanketed by video surveillance.
During that time, lead
They don't catch
investigator
anything on
Captain
video.
Jason Smith's team gathered no less than
You don't have a body, then it
45
becomes really hard to
angles
solve a
of the
case.
shooting. But this modern-day dragnet of sweeping social media and canvassing businesses for video is time-consuming.
Right?
often
But at least we can
requiring
thank
warrants
Big
and
Brother,
subpoenas.
the age of
But
Big
it
Brother for
works.
this.
While they were showing us footage from the
More
South Street shooting,
recordings.
detectives got word of 2 more arrests.
They're in custody.
You just got word.
Just got word right now.
You feel that the arrests were made so quickly because of the video that you have.
Without a doubt.
But for all the technology, it's no match for what cops and chiefs told our investigative teams at CBS stations across
really
the country.
fascinating.
What hinders murder investigations most is the breakdown between police and communities of color in a post-George Floyd world.
There's a trust factor that we lost along the way. And we try every day to build that trust factor back up.
Our investigative
Okay, well, I don't really want to get into that too much. Now my PC is running low on battery. I am gonna have to plug it in so we don't die. But anyway, that is fascinating. It is fascinating that homicide rates are so high and that they're really having a hard time solving apparently most of them. Not even just most of them, but what they said, 50-50. It's a coin toss whether or not they're able to solve murders nowadays. And honestly, that's pretty disturbing. So that means there's a lot of killers running around out there hiding in plain sight, which is why we do what we do, because we do need to spread the word. We do need to, that's how we can stay vigilant, is by staying connected with each other and staying in communication. And really, honestly, I think, like I said, you never know. Some sleuths have helped to solve some pretty big cases. They do rely on the public a lot for any type of tips in all cases. This one says Indiana serial killer claims way more victims than Illinois. Convicted serial killer Darren Dion Van told detectives he killed way more victims in Illinois than in Northwest Indiana, where he strangled 7 women over a 10-month period in 2014. Wow. 7 in a 10-month period? In most cases, depositing their bodies in abandoned properties in the city of Gary. So, see, this is it's common. You see how common this is? those women that are being found in Portland, like this woman, Clarissa Hammond Sweet, found dead on vacant property near Wilsonville by homicidal violence. She's 43 years old, out of Salem, found dead, a vacant property near Wilsonville, and that was on July 10th. And just around that time, I had gone up to Portland to go investigate, and I actually did drive by the area. I did drive by the area where she was found. I don't think there is a whole lot of information regarding her case at this point. You have a great day as well. Thanks for stopping by. Anybody, please don't forget to hit the like button. Hit it over here on YouTube to help my video get out into the algorithm and spread the word. So this is Clarissa Ann Hammond Sweet, and her body was found around July 10th in a vacant property, and it was determined she died by homicidal violence. There was also another woman, Joanna Speaks. She was found dead by homicidal violence. Let's see. Here we go. In a barn near Ridgefield. So I've just been wondering if potentially, you know, any of these cases could be connected. And then honestly, you got to say, if they're not connected, that means that there are more than even just two. There's like literally multiples. And they do tend to operate around interstates. They do tend to operate around freeways. There are probably likely, to be honest, a lot of truck drivers that are serial killers. There was a guy in Oregon that the investigative reporters who were doing I think it was like an AMC special. And I think there are different episodes. There's like a 5-hour long YouTube video that I watched, and it was a whole investigation that these two went on, and they were helping law enforcement along the way, like put pieces together, and they were also learning a lot of really disturbing stuff. So let's see. I feel like there's going to be a lot, like, but let's look at this really quick. Joanna Speaks, another woman found in Oregon, homicidal violence, found in a barn, an abandoned barn on someone's private property. Family asks for tips. The family, well, maybe we just watch this video real quick.
Friends of Tillamook Air Museum invite you to celebrate Hangar B's 80th birthday. Enjoy free admission to our community event with live music,
We don't
displays,
want your
vendors,
ads,
and more.
please.
Return at 6 for a night of dancing,
Okay, well, if
dinner,
you do,
and silent
here you go.
auction. To learn more and
If you
buy
want
tickets, visit
Tillamook Air.
TillamooKair.com.
Local investigators are looking into the discovery of 6 women found dead in wooded, secluded areas around the greater metro area over the last several months. They haven't connected their deaths, but they are.
They have connected 4 of their deaths to Jesse
Calhoun.
Calhoun.
Of an Oregon mother whose body was found dumped in Ridgefield, Washington.
But not
wants
Joanna
answers.
Speaks or the new
32-year-old
lady,
Joanna Speaks
Clarissa
was found
Sweet.
near an abandoned barn in late April. Ariel Hamby and Robin Speaks say their sister could light up a room and had an obnoxious giggle they wish they could hear one more time. They see their sister in her 3 kids who look like Joanna and share the same laugh. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says they've received dozens of tips since they asked for the public's help, and they've been in contact with investigators with other agencies to discuss these 6 cases. Hamby and Speaks hope the tips keep coming, no matter how small they may seem.
See, because of tips. They
lot of the
put
tips
pieces
that we
together
got
in some of those
actually had
other
some sort of substance,
cases.
whether true or not, whether fact or not, whatever. Most of them stemmed from people we don't know, and generally they start with, I don't know if this helps, but, and all of those ones really help. They are generally filled with information that we didn't already have. So literally everything, anything helps.
The women say they've been in contact with the other women's families who now share a horrific, unimaginable pain, whether the cases are linked or not.
It kind of consumes you.
It literally consumes you.
It consumes you. And so I think that we kind of almost feel responsibility now to be like, hey, look at these other
Yeah,
girls'
if somebody did
cases.
that to
If
my family
you
member, you better
recognize
believe I would
anything or
become a private
have any
investigator
kind of
so
records,
fast, like, I wouldn't
collection,
be
like
focusing on anything else in
reach
my
out
entire
to
life.
those
I'd be like, "Well, I'm
counties,
an
send
investigator
your
now, so we're
tips
not stopping
in.
until we get answers."
If you know anything about any of these cases, you're encouraged to reach out to law enforcement. And if you're not comfortable talking with officers, Hamby and Speak set up an email account where you can send tips. It's justiceforjoanna@outlook.com.
Justiceforjoanna@outlook.com if anybody has any information regarding the disappearance and the death of Joanna Speaks. Very tragic, all these stories, but that's just one. That's one of so many. Look at this map. Let's zoom it a little bit here. Okay. So this was something interesting that I had wanted to share with you guys. And this is the FBI website. I'm gonna make that a little bit smaller. There we go. Highway serial killings, new initiative on an emerging trend. Okay, I think this might be about the algorithm. In 2004, an analyst from the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation detected a crime pattern. Yeah, here we go. This is about the algorithm situation I was talking about. So this guy's created this algorithm to map patterns to connect unsolved homicides a lot faster than law enforcement have been able to do just by manually doing it. So in 2004, this analyst from the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation detected a crime pattern. The bodies of murdered women were being dumped along the Interstate 40 corridor in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi. Yeah, now Interstate 40 is notorious, I'm pretty sure. I think if that's where the Texas killing fields all went, like where the Texas killing fields, I think, are along Interstate 40. I don't quote me on that, but it's definitely, if that's right, it's a dangerous stretch where a lot of bodies have been found and not all of them have been able to be solved. Really mysterious. The Texas killing fields, they definitely feel like they have, I don't know, they may have had a suspect in several of those deaths, but I swear the guy pretty much just got away with it because they couldn't really pin it on him. Super effed. So the analyst and a police colleague from the Grapevine, Texas Police Department referred these cases to our Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, or VICAP, where our analysts look at other records in our database to see if there were similar patterns of highway killings elsewhere. Turns out there were, so we launched an extensive effort to support our state and local partners with open investigations into highway murders. Joanna Speaks' body, Clarissa Sweet, the ladies I've been just talking about, they were all found off of interstates. The woman who was kidnapped by Zugazi. I think that's his name. The woman who was kidnapped by Zugazi just recently, who just escaped, that was an interstate kidnapping as well. Using shackles and handcuffs and everything. Tasers, pretending like you're a cop. Scary. There's a lot of guys out there, a lot of people out there like this. I will say the majority definitely are men, but you every now and then get your women psychopaths as well. They usually tend to be a little bit more covert, except for the case of Eileen Warnos, and she also operated along the highways pretty much. So every now and then you will get your female killers up in there as well. The psychology, though, there's psychology around why people do the things they do, and the way they do things helps you determine who they are. That's how you profile. That's how you map out who would do, the crime in question. So today we're publicly announcing our Highway Serial Killings Initiative to raise awareness among law enforcement agencies and the general public about this issue and our unique assistance on these cases. The victims in these cases are primarily women who are living high-risk transient lifestyles, often involving substance abuse and prostitution. I definitely lived a high-risk lifestyle, a bit of a transient lifestyle when I was living on the road in my van and my bus and being very nomadic, but I did not have a hardcore substance abuse problem or engage in prostitution, and I always had dogs with me, so I managed to stay safe through all of that. They're frequently picked up at truck stops or service stations and essayed, murdered, and dumped along a highway. The suspects are predominantly long-haul truck drivers, but the mobile nature of the offenders, the unsafe lifestyle of the victims, the significant distances in multiple jurisdictions involved, and the scarcity of witnesses or forensic evidence can make these cases tough to solve. So cops were saying if that woman didn't escape from Zugazi, like she would have been, she was done, and they wouldn't have been able to find him, and he probably would have committed more crimes. So thank God she escaped. What a crazy case. Hopefully it cracks open, his history, and we get some more answers on other cases that can come to light. I want justice for all these victims, so many victims, so many families, there's more. It's like, it creates such a ripple effect. Murder and homicide. When you do this, you commit this act, you not only affect the person, you affect more so those that are left in the wake of that destruction. So it's a terrible thing that deserves justice. And so we will find it. The database, which contains information on homicides, essays, missing persons, and unidentified human remains, is available to law enforcement throughout the country over a secure internet link on our law enforcement online, LEO. VICAP analysts have created a national matrix of more than 500 murder victims from along or near highways, as well as a list of some 200 potential suspects. Names of suspects contributed by law enforcement agencies are examined by analysts who develop timelines using a variety of reliable sources of information. Whoa, interesting. Sounds like it's cool work, man. But look at that. 500 cases in our Highway Serial Killings Initiative database. The red dots mark where bodies or remains have been found along highways over the past 33 years. So look over here in the, what do we got New York over here, and we got, look at all the little clusters over here. A lot on the East Coast, actually. A lot more in the East. Wow. Look at that. That's way, way different. So that is a map, my friends, that is the serial killings, Highway Serial Killings Initiative Act that has helped them to be able to map out all these unsolved homicides, but that is a lot. That is crazy. A little scary, okay? But I guess a little less over here on this side of the world. I don't want to live on the East Coast. I'm good. For any of you that live over there, might want to consider a move. No, but they did say, it's SEX workers primarily that are being targeted, and people that like Zugasi with his little note, his operation, what was it? Total takeover or hostile takeover, something like that. Operation Scary Kidnapping. Yeah, just wow. This is wild. Sorry, I'm stunned. I'm speechless for once. Crazy. Look at that. Okay. I'm blown away. That's amazing. So our assistance also includes sponsoring free regional training sessions on our Highway Serial Killings Initiative for law enforcement agencies located near major interstates and highways, educating victim advocacy groups, in particular groups representing women and children, and using the skills of our behavioral analysis experts at the National Center for the Analysis of Violent Crime, who can provide investigative interview and prosecutive strategies, ways to link cases using behavioral characteristics, advice on working with the media, and unknown offender profiles. VICAP is only as good as the data it contains, so we ask law enforcement agencies to make sure. So if you're watching this, anyone in law enforcement, encourage your friends in law enforcement to utilize these services so that we can get some more of these unsolved homicides solved, because I think this map's a little old too. It's like from some years ago. Let me close out these tabs really quick. And then I think I'll just not exit, but we'll get out of here by watching the press release about the Zugasi case. Hello, good morning. Thank you. Please come over and like the YouTube video over here on YouTube, you guys, if you wouldn't mind. I would really appreciate it. Help get the video in the algorithm, help push me through the algorithms. Us small-time creators have a little bit of a hard time. I'm doing good stuff over here. I'm trying to help solve the world's mysteries and help solve crimes. 1112 right now. We got angel numbers, and I see 33 up at the top. So that's confirmation from spirit. Support your girl. Okay. And we're going to end this very interesting live stream, if I might say, because I do have to go to work in a little while, by watching, don't go yet, we're going to watch the press release about this story. Oh, am I sharing? I'm sharing. All right, let's go. We got sound.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Stephanie Shark. I'm an assistant special agent in charge in FBI Portland. I am joined today by Assistant United States Attorney Nathan Levarchik, Klamath Falls Police Captain Rob Reynolds, and John Casalino, Assistant Attorney General for the Oregon Department of Justice. Although law enforcement daily combats violence and tragedy, some cases alarm even the most seasoned investigators, particularly when shocking details are revealed and we see that there may be multiple unknown victims. The case we are here to announce today, uncovered in Klamath Falls, Oregon, is that kind of case. And while the alleged perpetrator is already in federal custody, the disturbing evidence uncovered to date points to an individual's ongoing and escalating pattern of violence targeting women in multiple states throughout the country. When police responded to a 911 call in Klamath Falls, Oregon on July 15th, they discovered a makeshift cinder block cell with a metal door and a singular light bulb above for light in a residential garage, and a woman who bravely escaped her terrifying circumstances. Sadly, we believe there are more victims, as well as persons out there who might have vital information relevant to our ongoing investigation. We are seeking the public's assistance to help us spread the word about this case in the hopes of reaching all of those people. Let me tell you more about our subject. 29-year-old Negasi Zuberi is also known by several aliases. One is Sakima, another is Justin Haichi, and another Justin Kouassi. He is currently in federal custody for alleged interstate kidnapping after a Seattle woman escaped his home in Klamath Falls, more than 450 miles away from where she initially met him. Thereafter, she alleges she was kidnapped, shackled, sexually assaulted, and locked in this makeshift cell. According to the complaint, the woman fought for her life, beating the doors and the walls of this cell with bloodied hands. Through her perseverance, she broke free and waved down a passing motorist, asking for their help to call 911. The victim's focus, actions, and her will to survive triggered a law enforcement response that may have actually saved many other women from a similar nightmare. Through quick and decisive law enforcement action across many local, state, and federal agencies, we were able to get Zuberi into custody in Reno, Nevada the following day. Klamath Falls Police Captain Rob Reynolds will now speak more about what happened that weekend in July, how the victim escaped, and the impact to his community.
Good morning. Again, my name is Captain Rob Reynolds. I'm with the Klamath Falls Police Department. On the day in question, our investigators had made contact with the victim, and what happened is we learned that she was from Seattle, Washington, and that she had been abducted up there. The suspect had transported her down to Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is probably about a 7-hour drive from Seattle, give or take. And during that time, she was also sexually assaulted. Also during that time, she was taken to a residence in Klamath Falls, Oregon, where there was a makeshift cell, if you will. And he had actually locked her in there for a couple hours at least until she realized that she needed to get out of that residence because her life was in danger. And she took the substantial steps to force her way out of that cell. And then she ran out into public, flagged down the first vehicle she could find. And then she was taken to safety. Then 911 was called. And then when we responded to help her, we learned that what happened during that time, sorry, planes. During that time, the officers learned that she had gone through quite a great ordeal. There's potential of additional victims out there. We're asking today for people to come forward that might have had contact with Mr. Zuberi during contact. Obviously, not just in our jurisdiction, but from all over the country, wherever he lived previously. We do know that it's an active investigation. We can't say too much, but what we like to say is that the victim, if she didn't do what she did, we wouldn't be here today, and Mrs. Zuberi would not be in custody. So I want to personally thank her for her bravery and what she did to get through that ordeal and get to where she needed to be today. We do want to also let you know that there are also victim services that the FBI is going to be providing on their website, and that information will be provided to you shortly. And that we want to make sure that any additional victims come forward, that those services are going to be provided to them and they're going to be taken care of. With that.
Thank you, Captain. The FBI and our partners, to include Oregon State Police, acted quickly and were able to safely track down Mr. Zuberi within hours of his efforts to evade law enforcement. Our partners at the Reno Police Department, Nevada State Police, and Las Vegas FBI safely captured him after a 45-minute standoff in a public parking lot at a major shopping center in Nevada with no injuries to themselves or others. Assistant United States Attorney Nate Levarchuk will now discuss any prosecutorial actions in this case.
Good morning. My name is Nate Levarchuk from the U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm an assistant U.S. attorney here in Oregon, and I'm the branch chief who supervises our Eugene and Medford offices. To add to what's already been said, on July 17th, we obtained a federal criminal complaint charging Mr. Zuberi with one count of interstate kidnapping. That charge carries with it a maximum sentence of up to life in federal prison. The court recently unsealed that criminal complaint, which lays out the probable cause supporting the charge. I do want to note that that is a charge, and just that. It's an accusation of a crime, and Mr. Zuberi is presumed innocent until he's proven guilty. After law enforcement arrested him in Nevada, he appeared in federal court there in front of a judge on July 26th, and that judge in Reno ordered him detained pending his transfer to Oregon. The U.S. Marshals Service is now in the process of bringing him back to Oregon to face the kidnapping charge, and we anticipate that he'll appear in federal court in Medford, Oregon, in the coming weeks. At that hearing, our office will seek his continued detention and argue that he is a flight risk and a danger to the community. This is an ongoing investigation. I'm not able to offer any more than that, but what I do want to offer is my compliments and the collaboration and the efforts of our federal, state, and local partners, including FBI, the Klamath Falls Police Department, Klamath County District Attorney's Office, Oregon State Police, Reno Police Department, and the Washoe County, Nevada District Attorney's Office, who all moved quickly and in coordination with each other to apprehend Mr. Zuberi. So with that, I'll hand it back to FBI ASAC Stephanie Shark. Thank you.
Thank you. Our investigation has continued vigorously over the past 2 weeks since Zuberi's arrest, extending into multiple states where he resided from August 2016 into the
All right, we've already
present.
heard this, but I'm just going to
Those
let this
states
play out,
include
and then the
Washington,
stream is probably going
Oregon,
to end after
California,
that. So
Nevada,
love you guys.
Utah,
Thanks for coming. Please hit the
Colorado,
like button
New York,
if you're watching the
New
replay.
Jersey, Alabama,
watching now,
and Florida.
Come over to YouTube and hit the like button, though, or else it doesn't
Zuberi
really
has
help.
been linked to at least 4 sexual assaults in 4 other states.
Please
We
subscribe
believe
if you
there
love
may
my
be
vibe
more
and want to become
victims.
part of the tribe. I love you guys so much.
Victims may know
Have a
Zuberi
beautiful
by the
day.
name
Stay safe.
Sakima,
Be vigilant.
and it is believed he may
and,
have used several different methods to gain control of his victims,
keep your eyes
to
out. Keep
include
your eyes
drugging
peeled,
their
okay?
drinks and
Stay alert,
impersonating
aware.
a law enforcement officer.
Till next time.
Today, the FBI has launched a Seeking Victims website to help us identify potential victims. If you believe you or someone you know has been a victim of or has any information about Zuberi, please visit the website fbi.gov/Sakima victims or call 1-800-CALL-FBI. At this time, I would like to turn it over to my colleague from the Oregon Attorney General's office for a few comments.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Castellino, and I'm Assistant Attorney General with the Oregon Department of Justice. Currently, the Klamath County District Attorney's Office is being managed by Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, and I am managing it on her behalf. I'm thankful for the swift action of our federal partners. I'm also thankful for the directed and precise action of law enforcement in Klamath County. And it's our hope in this press conference today that you can help us identify additional victims who may have suffered similar fates to the victim in the federal case.
Finally, I want to thank the brave women who fought for their lives to get us where we are here today. Now it is our turn to take their burden and fight for them, any other victims out there, and seek justice. Thank you. At this time, we will take just a few questions. Aside from the one that we're discussing here in Oregon, because those are active investigations, we're not going to name the states at the time. I'm sorry. The victim was held in the cell a few hours before she escaped. Due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, we can't go into those details. We're still uncovering a lot of them. Not at this point, no. The victim is strong and courageous, and right now she is physically okay. And we are working with her through our victim services department to make sure that she has whatever resources she needs to continue to be resilient. Just the 4 that I mentioned, but we will not go into their names or locations right now. Not at this time. We are not releasing that information right now. Sure. For that, I'm going to defer to my colleague from the Klamath Falls Police Department.
So the victim, when she was trying to escape the cell itself, she had repeatedly punched it with her own hands, and she had several lacerations along her knuckles from doing so. That I don't know. It was locked. Again, because of her ability and her survival mindset, this was a screen door. She punched it several times to break the welds, ripped the screen down, and she crawled through a small space to get out of that place because she knew something bad was going to happen to her. That I don't know. I'd have to refer to my colleagues here.
It is not believed he is from Oregon. He has only been in the state a few months at this time. We're going to let you guys do your investigation into that. We're not going to release any of those details. I cannot rely. Unfortunately, we do not. And our concern is based off of the information that has been made public in the complaint and released, that there is escalation of violence and intent. And so we are concerned that if we work backwards, we're going to find, unfortunately, numerous victims, which is why we are actually seeking your guys' help to do that. We do not know. This is one of those cases where, again, a lot of times we'll get a case and we'll think it is what is on its face. And the more we look into this case, the more we can become concerned as law enforcement that there may be more that we're missing. And so that's why right now we are still at the infancy stages of the investigation. We can't answer a lot of questions, and we really want to seek the assistance from victims, because that's what's really important here, is making sure that anybody else who may have information to help us knows how to get in touch with us. So please pass along the website. Oh, at this time, there is absolutely no information to indicate any links between these matters. I mean, at this time, his charges will be in Medford, but we'll have to see where this investigation goes. We're still in the very early stages, and we appreciate all of you guys taking time out of your day to come here and help us with this. Thank you so much. Thank you.